Hey everyone, Morning Coffee back again with another short guide for Diablo 3. If you're like me, then you're probably running low on gems for augmenting all the different sets you want to play in Season 28. So today I'm going to talk about a way to farm gems from content that you're probably already doing this season, but may not be getting all the rewards from. What I'm talking about is farming the bandit shrines that appear inside Echoing Nightmares. I assume most of you are probably farming them for your level 125 Whisper of Atonement gems so that you can augment your gear. But sometimes, especially for hardcore players, we choose to end the nightmare as soon as we reach tier 125, since this will reward us with the max level gem. However, after tier 125, there's a high chance for a bandit shrine to appear inside the Echoing Nightmare. This bandit shrine will spawn 10 to 15 goblins, which is our source of gems for this farm. The main thing to note is that the goblins that spawn will have their health scaled by the tier of the nightmare, which means that most builds will want to rely on the damage from the conduit pylon to defeat them. Of course, this may seem scary for some hardcore players, but if you are already completing them to tier 125, the reality is that it probably isn't that scary. It is extremely easy to become overwhelmed past tier 125, and if you are playing hardcore and do proc, just kite out the remaining enemies while avoiding meteors and ground explosions, and the nightmare should end very quickly. I would always recommend that players doing nightmares on hardcore use 2 cheat death procs, and always let yourself get overwhelmed if one of your procs goes off. All the footage in this video is of my monk on hardcore in Season 28, and as long as you play cautiously, you should be fine. Alright, so let's actually talk about how I farm the bandit shrines. First off, make sure that you're using your potion on cooldown while doing the Echoing Nightmares, so that you gain the different shrine effects. However, as I approach tier 90, I will save my potion effect, and soon after reaching 90, I will click it to try and get the power pylon effect. Alright, so as you can see here, we have our potion, just came off cooldown. We're saving it as we're getting close to tier 90 here. Soon after 90, I'm just going to go ahead and click it. I'm trying to get that power pylon effect, like I said. The goal of that's just to kind of speed our tiers up to get to 110. I did not get the power pylon effect, so what I did was I went ahead and clicked the channeling pylon, and if you don't know, when you click the channeling pylon, that will reset the cooldown of your potion, which allowed me to click my potion again just trying to get the power pylon effect. I'm trying to get to 110. 110-ish is usually when I'm going to click the power pylon, and then I'm going to use that power pylon from 110 to get me to 125, at which point I'll be clicking the conduit, and we'll be using the conduit to clear the rest of the way. So here we're about 110. My overwhelm, you can see it's hardly anything. Just kind of, there's a bunch of stuff right here in the middle. I'm cleaning that up. I'm actually, in this attempt, it's going to be closer for me to get to like 120-ish before I click it. And that's just kind of the way that the Echoing Nightmare was going. Everything was grouped up really nicely for me. I just didn't need to click it yet. So I go over, we click our power pylon. We're just kind of clearing everything right here. We're going to get close to 125. You always want to make sure you clear out the spawners so that you don't get too many explosions. Just try not to overwhelm yourself. And then, yeah, so we're just going to keep it going. A lot of the times I'll delay clicking on the conduit. If I'm at 125 and I'm under halfway overwhelmed, I'll try and hold off. I actually let it get a little close there, but as you can see, now we're in the 130s and we're just looking for the bandit shrine and trying to avoid damage on the ground. That's the main thing. We got the bandit shrine to spawn, and we're just going to use the conduit in the area, clean up all the goblins for us, and that's basically it. At this point, you're just trying to not die and clean up the goblins with conduit. It's pretty easy, and it's a good way to just pick up some extra loot. One thing you can do is, you can see here, there's so much stuff on the screen. You can hide the loot filter so that you don't actually see the loot, and that would allow you to see a lot better and see things on the ground so that you don't actually end up dying. Some quick thoughts before I end the video. The reason that I don't click the speed pylon in my runs is because I actually just find speed to be annoying. I don't like moving that quickly when I'm on a limited map and I'm trying to dodge things on the ground. And that's just a personal preference for me. That's up to you whether you click the speed pylon or not, or if you get much use out of it. Also, my build is not very resource intensive. So for me, the channeling pylon isn't necessary, and it doesn't really matter when I click it. So if you're playing a build that is resource intensive, feel free to save the channeling pylon until you feel like you need it. That way you can make sure that you're able to push to 125 without needing the conduit pylon. Bandit shrines will appear on the minimap. So if you want to, you can take a look at your minimap and keep an eye on that. Or you can just run around and look for the shrine itself. I had actually planned to record a different video. However, to make the build work, I had to farm augments, which meant farming these gems, and that's how I ended up posting this video. Hopefully this will help some of you out there that are also struggling in farming the gems you need to augment your gear. Tomorrow, the D4 beta will launch, which means starting tomorrow, I'll be playing D4 throughout this weekend, and most likely any content that I post in the next week or so will be D4 related content. And then the following weekend, we have another D4 beta, and I'll probably just continue to post more D4 content for the foreseeable future. Thank you to everyone that watched to the end. If you like the content, please hit the subscribe button and drop a like on the video. I hope you all are as excited for D4 as I am, and I hope to see you all again very soon.